Naptown Tuner here, like and subscribe. People often ask me the question, what if I just keep on topping my engine off with oil? Is it really going to hurt anything? I'm just going to keep on pouring oil in it because it's too expensive to fix. Well, unfortunately, that's what most people have been doing. That's why I haven't really been buying these cars anymore. They cost too much to fix. The parts are pricing me out of the market. I'll do the labor for myself, or I'll help some people out, but most people don't want to do it. They'll just buy a quart every time it needs one, and sometimes it's as bad as a quart every 200, 300 miles. Sometimes you're pouring 2 quarts in for every 1 tank of gas. So it's pretty crazy oil consumption on some of these. And yes, it will destroy some stuff. What I've seen is, and why I'm pretty much retired from doing this stuff for other people, is I don't know what I'm gonna find whenever I open up the engine. I could find scored cylinder liner. They don't have liners that you punch in and press out, but the bore of the cylinder could be scratched, so it needs machine work. I'm not a machine shop. It has to go to a machine shop then, and then they have to punch it out to a bigger size, and you have to get aftermarket pistons, and that takes time. I don't have a problem doing that. I don't have the machines to do machining work. I'm not going to invest that kind of money. It's no big deal to do the labor, but it just takes time for the machine shop to go through the engine, and then it costs money. It's a process. The vehicle has to be down for maybe 3 weeks. So I have done mobile repairs, and a few different times I've found scored cylinder walls. Why? Because, for instance, this is a pretty new spark plug right here. OEM VW Audi spark plug. And if you can see, it looks pretty crummy. So I just got done doing this oil consumption job right here, and this one was consuming about a quart every 250 miles. And you see how, if I can focus, the porcelain is broken off right there. You see all this crud and deposits on that electrode strap? Let's look at the next one. Broken. That porcelain is gonna bounce around in the cylinder wall, and it could get stuck in the side of the piston and groove, scratch the cylinder liner, the cylinder wall rather. That one doesn't look as bad, but it's getting ready to get brittle and break. Same with this one. So what can also happen is you can burn a valve. A chunk will just be missing from the valve and you'll lose compression. And you can also break a piston. The piston ringland will just come apart. And you can also destroy your catalytic converter from excess oil being burned up into it. Now, to compare, this is one that didn't have oil consumption. This spark plug is much older. This is how the spark plug pretty much should look. Good, healthy looking electrode strap, no deposits on there, just a light tan color, versus these crummy looking spark plugs. If you're buying a car and you're able to pull a spark plug out of it to see, if the spark plugs look like this, just go ahead and pass on the vehicle. I don't know how many people are actually going to let you pull a spark plug out before you buy a car though, but if it's broken, you might be able to do that. Now I'm going to show you some examples on the cylinder head. This is my scrap pile I've been collecting for about 2 years. I've already been sorting through it and scrapping some of it, so that's not all of it. I've been loading some of these cylinder heads up. For instance, right here, these 2 cylinders, something came apart. You see how nothing's damaged over here. This is inside the cylinder. The head gasket seals right here. And you see how something was bouncing around in the cylinder right there, scratching it up. So damages your valves. It could bend your valves if something gets caught in between the valve and the valve seat. It could damage the valve seats. And right here, this electrode strap is completely worn off, and the spark plug tip looks really bad. This was an oil consumer for sure. Now this one, I put a dingleberry hone through cylinder number 1 just to see if it would clean up these scratches, and the scratches are still there. My fingernail drags on these. This is one where I was trying to help someone out. The light's bouncing off that second scratch. They're light, but my fingernail drags through them, and catches. They're all the way up and down. Now, for a future video, this isn't really rust, it's just, I'm gonna clean these cylinders up with a little bit of oil. And these middle two cylinders, I'm gonna run them as is after I clean them up a little bit. And this back cylinder, I'm gonna hone it. So this will be a fresh honed back cylinder, 2 unhoned cylinders, and then this one will have light scratches in it. I'm gonna put new pistons all the way across, do compression and leak down tests, and then I'm gonna put it in my car, my own personal car, and see what it does, see how it runs. And definitely the scratches could be worse, but I'm just gonna do this for an experiment for YouTube. And the rest of them, I got like 4 other blocks that I need to put through the machine shop and do oversized pistons on. Now I think I scrapped it, but in previous videos I showed a broken piston with broken ring lands, and I showed a cylinder head with burnt valve. So that's what can happen. What can happen is your spark plugs will fall apart, scratch the cylinder walls, your piston can break, the ring lands can break out, the valve can burn, and the catalytic converter can deteriorate inside. It can lose its efficiency. And if you can think of anything else that will damage the engine, I would say carbon on the valves will increase. If you can think of anything else that will damage the engine, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, Naptown Tuner.